Here we go. Cover one crew. What is going on? Chris Chow's back again for another episode. Hope everybody's doing great out there. I'm wonderful because it is a game day. We got week number 5 kicking off tonight on Thursday Night Football between the Denver Broncos hosting those Indianapolis Colts. And we got some injuries to some big names. JT and Javonte Williams not in this contest due to injuries. Vontae, like we know, gone for the season on the ACL, where JT is gone for hopefully what could be only a couple weeks due to an ankle injury. He could not get right for this contest. Looked a little bit better than what we had anticipated. They were calling for a high ankle sprain. This could be maybe a 1 to 2 week injury for the man, which is good news for all JT owners, bad news for all Javonte Williams owners. But we do have a good contest to discuss with fantasy implications, so let's dive in and waste no time. So starting off with those Indianapolis Colts, and we'll see what they're doing so far this season. They have been somewhat up and down. Somehow they found a way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs a couple weeks back, but this past week they lost and basically laid a dud versus those Tennessee Titans 24-17. They lost this past week. Now they got a short week playing in the Mile High versus the Denver Broncos. And total offensive plays, they haven't been terrible in this aspect. 270 for 76, excuse me. And I mean, Matt Ryan has been, good in one game, awful the next. Good in one game, awful the next. Like, this might be the transition we could see for at least the next couple weeks in this offense. But, Matt Ryan also suggested, they're very close to figuring out their chemistry, and you got to tend to believe him. He's going to be able to give you some good, decent productivity in this contest. Rushing attempts 101 for 351 and 1 touchdown, but no Jonathan Taylor, like I mentioned. So you got Nyheim Hines, you got Deion Jackson being the 1-2 punch in this contest. Likely going to split carries more often than not. Nyheim's going to get lots of volume, highly likely in this contest. So we know the cast of characters: Matt Ryan, Nyheim Hines, Deion Jackson, Michael Pittman, Ashton Doolin, Alec Pierce, Paris Campbell, and Mo Alley Cox. Mo Cox, Mo problems. Hopefully it's not a lot of problems for this week. He's been finding the end zone, which is making no problems. Passing yards, just over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for Matt Ryan. You got 5 field goals in 7 attempts for these Colts, so the kicking game has been relatively steady. -6 in the turnover ratio. They got to clean this up. A lot of this is due to Matt Ryan and his horrible passing at this point. But, I mean, with an offensive line, this was my problem. I thought with the offensive line this year, the Colts, and Matt Ryan would be able to figure things out a lot quicker than they have, and they have not. So hopefully this is a contest going up against the Denver Broncos, who have themselves been struggling so far this season. It has not been good, has not been as advertised this offseason as we thought it was going to be. But let's talk about some start-sit for this contest, because we got Matt Ryan, like I said, up and down basically so far this season. He is a mid-level risk play for me this week versus the Denver Broncos defense that has been, somewhat up and down as well. We saw the Las Vegas Raiders. They were able to, carve up this defense pretty well last week. So I know Matt Ryan, this offense, is something of a downgrade. Now, obviously, without their run game, they're going to have to rely on the pass quite a bit more. So you got to think Matt Ryan is going to likely throw at least another interception, at least one, but you got to think they're going to throw enough where they could at least get 2 to 3 touchdown passes to keep themselves competitive in this contest. 55.2 points for Matt Ryan is not horrific, but it's not great, okay? He's sitting in the mid-level pack of the waiver wire quarterbacks right now, and if you're stuck and you need a quarterback, this is not a horrible contest to be playing a Matt Ryan in. Volume upside does go to a Nyheim Hines this week now without JT, like we're saying. 20 points right now on the season. He should see a lot of work also in the pass game. You got to think they're going to implement that, because is he really built to take 20 touches? No, that's not what Nyheim can do. So you give him the ball in the pass game, recreate the run somewhat, and that way that'll give him a high PPR ceiling. So I think the volume upside for Nyheim Hines, obviously you're going to play him because of that, key for your running back room. Deion Jackson, high risk. I mean, he's going to sprinkle in touches based on, spelling Nyheim Hines. That's why I'm kind of thinking they're also going to abandon this run game quite early. even if especially the Denver Broncos do find themselves getting a lead early in this contest, we could see them abandon the run, which will again give Nyheim Hines that PPR upside. Michael Pittman, I got him as a low risk, even though he probably will see a boatload of Patrick Surtain, and I mean, that's a very good showdown we could see in this contest. Michael Pittman has been very good this season, missed a contest due to injury, but he's been good, and I fully expect him to play very, very well in this contest. You got to give your top dogs the top targets, Frank Reich, so do it. Everybody's counting on Nyheim Hines, or Michael Pittman, to have a very big week. I am as well. I think he's a low-risk play this week. You're obviously starting him, but I like the path to volume for him as well, with a potential touchdown coming his way. Ashton Dulin gets a high risk right now. He filled in for some injuries. He's going to be, the guy that's going to be leaned upon when they require him due to injury. I don't see a whole heck of a lot out of him this week. Alec Pierce is that guy. He is the X factor in this game for this offense. Looked pretty good last week, and I got a mid-level risk play on him this week. 17.6 points so far this season. He did miss time as well to a concussion. He looks good. He looks back. He looks healthy. They got to utilize this pass game properly, and you got to morph it around. Paris Campbell as well. He found some more upside this past week to fantasy production. Very much a high risk. You cannot trust a Paris Campbell at this point. Mo Cox, Mo Problems, Mo Ellie Cox, and Jelani Woods, both going to get sprinkled in with targets as well. Touchdown upside definitely will go to these tight ends, both of them, because they are big-time red zone mismatches where Mo Ellie Cox does have the better point production at this point, 29.9 points, almost 30 points. You can't hate that from the tight end position, but Mo Cox, if we're talking about tight ends right now, you got to think Mo Ellie Cox is the guy to play over a Jelani Woods. The Denver Broncos, they got some problems, like we said. No more Javonte Williams, torn ACL. You got to feel bad for this man. Everybody was hoping things were going to go well. It was just a, freak accident. Knee-on-knee contact from the defender on the side of his knee, and that was lights out for that ACL. I mean, this sucks for Javonte Williams owners. Hopefully you got yourself Melvin Gordon as your handcuff. If you didn't, everyone was rushing to the waiver wire to go grab a Mike Boone, and that it's a little bit sketchy to me because Mike Boone will likely be the fill-in this week. They did sign Latavius Murray off the New Orleans Saints practice roster this past week here after that contest they played in London. I haven't seen anything that's going to suggest that he's been elevated from the practice roster to play this week. If it was Sunday, we'd probably see a little Lat Murray on the field. This week, I highly doubt he's going to make it on the field, so Mike Boone should have value this week. Melvin Gordon, Russell Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, and Albert O are your characters for this Denver Broncos offense that has not been good. They've been sputtering all over the place. 247 plays, 14-18 in total yardage. Rushing attempts, 104 for 438 and 2 touchdowns. This rushing attack may increase now that they only have one guy really to, care about in this offense in the run game in Melvin Gordon. They have already been on record suggesting that they will feed Melvin Gordon the rock a lot in this game and a lot for the rest of the season. So we shall see how that's going to turn out. Melvin Gordon is still a very capable running back, and anybody who drafted Melvin Gordon is going to be smiling right now based on volume potential to fantasy ROI. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be very good for a Melvin Gordon. Russell Wilson did find his way back to some good graces last week, but they still lost to those Vegas Raiders 32-23. But I mean, for passing yards, 905, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception for Russell Wilson. Like I said, he looked a lot better in this past week. They just couldn't put it together. The biggest problem with these Denver Broncos is the coaching staff and Nathaniel Hackett. All us Buffalo Bills people, we understand what Nathaniel Hackett is. Great dude, no problem with the guy personally. Just play calling is extremely vanilla. He is not creative whatsoever, and he is currently the biggest problem this Denver Broncos offense does have. Excuse me, in my opinion. I think it's going to continue to be something of a struggle to get this offense going in the right path, but right now we see they are struggling immensely, and I would not be shocked if Denver does. I'll go on record right now as we sit in Week 5. I won't be shocked whatsoever if Denver does not make the postseason. Nathaniel Hackett could be one and done, and Sean Payton might be the head coach of the Denver Broncos as we move forward. But for start-sit potential, I'm going to go on a ledge here, on a limb, and say Russ Wilson, based on he's going to piggyback his performance from from last week, and he's going to be a very low-risk start this week. I think he's going to be able to give you, at minimum, 20 points. No Shaquille Leonard on the field. He's dealing with a concussion, broken nose from the past week, so that leaves this defense a little bit hamstrung as well. DeForest Buckner's looking like he's ready to play, so that's going to be a positive for this Indianapolis Colts defense, but I do think Russell Wilson did find a little something last week, and he should be able to carry it over this week. The only caveat, he is dealing with a shoulder problem right now. They said he was a little stiff and a little sore, so that is something to worry about. I could have put him down as a mid-level risk, but Russ likes to get up for primetime plays, so we'll see. I'm banking a little bit on this one to say it is low risk. I don't fault you for sitting him this week, keeping him on the waiver in some leagues. I completely understand, but for me, against this Colts team in the Mile High, you got to think they're going to be ready to play this game, and Russ should at least get you 15 to 20 points, in my opinion, at this point. Melvin Gordon is that low-risk start, and I think he's going to run the ball very well against the Indianapolis Colts, which will set up that play-action pass, which will help a Russell Wilson throw the ball better. You got to get the play-action pass game going for Russ. This is one of his best staples of his game. Get those moon balls going to the deep shots, man. KJ Hamler, do something creative, Nathaniel Hackett. You're killing everybody, man. Mike Boone, I got him as a high risk, but I should have put him as a TD potential upside. And I think that's all you're going to get. Maybe you're going to get 6-7 touches out of a Mike Boone this week, but he could see and vulture a touchdown if they get close in the 5-yard line red zone area. That definitely could happen. But I just, for me at this point, I know you probably spend a lot of fab dollars on the man. I just don't see it. Okay, and if you're going to risk the biscuit and you're going to play a Mike Boone, be prepared to see a very small score on that scoreboard, because this backfield likely will continue to belong now without Javonte Williams to a Melvin Gordon. Courtland Sutton has been the most consistent and reliable wide receiver out of this offense right now, and you can trust him as a start, low-risk play. Basically, the best chemistry that they do have between Russell Wilson and these wide receivers right now has been Courtland Sutton. Very safe play, in my opinion. The mid-level risk does go to Jerry Jeudy, because at this point, I already thought we would have seen the ascension happen. I mean, we've seen sprinkles here and there. It's just not consistent enough. 35.9 points is good, but it's not consistent enough to be, making you happy on the weekly. In this contest, I do think Jerry should be more involved. I really do, but it's still a mid-level risk for me. I want to see the consistency rates jump up for Jerry Jeudy before I start singing his good graces on a low-risk start every single week. At this point, it's not a bad play if you're going to start him this week. I'm just saying, be a little cautious and don't expect the world unless he finds the end zone as well. KJ Hamler and Albert O definitely find themselves as high-risk plays this week. We could see the Denver Broncos try to spread the field and utilize KJ Hamler that way, kind of like they tried with Hinton as well, the other wide receiver. But I think if KJ Hamler can get down the field, spread the defense, keep them honest, there is a potential for a big play. You cannot trust the tight end room here with Albert O. You're definitely keeping him on the bench or on the waiver where he should be at this point. When we talk about this contest overall, Thursday night football point spread picks, man, I went 81% last week on all bets for week number 4. So I am back in the good graces. You got to love it. The Colts are the underdog in this contest by 3.5 points. I was very close to taking Denver to cover the 4. I can't do it simply because of how anemic this Denver Broncos offense has been overall this season. All contests have been somewhat close, and they have also lost games and blown somewhat leads. Don't like it whatsoever. The Colts, yes, they are a mess, a hot mess in themselves, but I do believe they're going to be able to muster enough on Thursday Night Football to at least keep this competitive, and it should be likely a 3-point contest affair. So I got the Denver Broncos still winning this game 24-21, but I still believe that the Colts will cover the spread here, so I'm going Colts plus 3.5. Let's start Week 5 on a positive and continue on that 81% point spread we got from last week, because the money is falling out of my pockets, baby. Let's go Thursday Night Football. So there you have it. That is Thursday Night Football between the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. Should be a decent contest, not great overall, but I want to see these teams now take the next step in their progression as a club overall. Get that chemistry building going. Get the play action pass going for Denver, Indianapolis with Matt Ryan. Get that pass game moving along. Start feeding your top-end wide receiver Michael Pittman on the regular, and I mean, we should see at least a decent contest on Thursday night, but nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. Who are you guys picking as the winner? Put the scores in the comments. Let's have some fun, but nevertheless, we'll see you next time. I am out.